Okay guys, so today's Monday, March 29th, and we're working on commas still. So we're going to go over some rules for commas. Some we already know, and some are going to be new to us. So the first one over here for looking at what we just glued into our language arts journals. The first one says items in a list. Okay, so this is one we've already practiced. I ate an apple, carrots, and a sandwich for lunch. Okay, so commas to separate things in a list. Okay, and I'm just highlighting as we go ones we've done. Okay, the next comma rule is we need to put a comma between the city and state. So we worked on this last week also. Sandy lives in Houston, Texas. Okay, so the comma goes in between the city and state. Okay, the next one says in the date, you need to put a comma between the day and month and the date and year. Okay, so this is the example. They mean you're going to put a comma, if there's the day of the week, you put a comma after that. Then September 17th, comma, 2019. Have we practiced this?
Yes.
Yes, so this is another one we should know by now. So a comma between the date and the year, and then a comma if you include the day of the week. Okay, now this is something new we're going to look at today. After an introductory word or phrase. Okay, so the example here, it says, later we will go to the pool to swim. The introductory word is later. Do you kind of hear when I read that sentence, I pause just a little bit? Later, we will go to the pool to swim. When you kind of feel or hear yourself pause, that means you need to put a comma because you've used an introductory word. So later, we will go to the pool to swim. This is one we have not worked on that we're going to look at today. Okay, the next one is kind of like the first one we talked about where you have a list and you put a comma. But if you just have two adjectives, like Javea's hair is long, or let me think of a different way to say it, because you wouldn't have and in between it. The long, beautiful hair was very attractive. I don't know. So, long, beautiful was describing the hair, and I didn't say and. So, if I don't say and, I have to put a comma in between the adjectives. Okay? So, we put a comma between two adjectives describing a noun. I ate a crispy red apple for lunch today. So what are the two adjectives that are in that sentence? Bryson?
Crispy red.
Crispy red. Now, if it said crispy and red, would I need a comma? No, okay. So only if the adjectives are side by side, you have to put a comma between them. If you say and, then you don't have to put a comma. Okay, the next one. When you directly speak to someone, you need to set their name apart. Okay? We have not practiced this yet, so this is new also. The example is, leave your shoes by the door, Hannah. So when you're directly speaking to someone, you need to put a comma before or after their name, depending on how you use it. Okay? So another example would be, Mom, I need your help. Okay? So in this case, I put the comma after the name because it's at the beginning of the sentence. If I had said, Bryson, please sit still, or sit still, I would put a comma after Bryson. Okay? So that's just a couple more examples you can write down. Can y'all tell me another one we could use for this rule? I ate a crispy red apple for lunch today. 2 adjectives. I'll give you a second to think.
Apple for lunch today.
So we said we wanted to describe a bird. So I could say the beautiful. That's one adjective. Blue bird made a nest. Okay, so my 2 adjectives were what?
Beautiful and blue.
Good, beautiful and blue. So because I didn't have a word in between them, I need to put a comma to separate them. Okay, so back up to this one we haven't done. Later we will go to the pool to swim. So another introductory word could be, unfortunately,
It's closed.
there you go, that goes without. Unfortunately, it is closed. So you hear how I kind of pause before I say the rest of this sentence? Introductory words mean you need a comma before you continue the rest of the sentence. Okay? So unfortunately, later, soon, all those words that we've used in our how-to writing, next, then, last. Okay, have we worked on this? Commas when using quotation marks? Yes, so we can highlight both sections. We've done this before. We've practiced that. Okay, and the last one, in compound and complex sentences. We will discuss these more in the future. We haven't really done a lot of compound sentences. We have a little bit in our daily language. So an example would be, Sam was running fast, comma, and he reached the finish line first. That's 2 sentences put together, so you put the comma and a conjunction. When the rain stopped, we ran to the car. Okay, so complex sentence. Okay, but these 3 in the middle are what we're kind of focusing on. Okay? Because we practice dates, we practice cities and states, we practice the commas in a series, we practice quotations, and we're going to do this one later. So we're just focusing on these. Are there any questions on these 3 in the middle? Okay, now we're going to go over to the next page and we're going to practice together. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try 1 through 5 using your rules to help you, and then we will check it together. Okay, so I put the numbers out to the side. So number 1, you should have 4 commas. The first one would be where? Aaliyah? Very good. After yesterday, because that's an introductory word. Yesterday, you hear how we kind of pause when we read it? Yesterday, I went to the store and bought eggs, butter, bread, and apples. So the list of things you're buying: eggs, butter, bread, and apples. Okay. Number 2. My sweet little sister was born on Tuesday, March 6, 2017. Where would the first one go, Kelsey?
After Tuesday.
Okay, there's one before that. Evangeline?
After the sweet.
Yes, after sweet. Okay, then after Tuesday, what's the next one, Jabea? After 6, and that would be it. Okay, number 3, we only had one. We are going to visit Miami, Florida for summer vacation. The comma needs to go between Miami and Florida. Number 4, you had 2 commas. Tomorrow we will be participating in a spelling bee, Mrs. Smith explained. Where does the first one go? Aaliyah? After tomorrow. Good. That's an introductory word. Tomorrow we will be participating in a spelling bee. This is a quotation, so a comma goes there before we say Mrs. Smith explained. And the last one, Lisa, please put your name on your paper. There was only one. Where would the comma go, Kelsey?
After Lisa.
After Lisa. Anytime you're directly speaking to someone and you use their name, you need to put a comma there, okay? All right, let's go ahead and stop there for now. Set this off to the side.